Welcome back to the Providence College podcast. I'm your host, Bridget Anthony from the class of 2022, joined by our producer, Chris Judge from the class of 2005. Today, we're excited to be joined by Susan Esper, a Providence College alum from the class of 1991 and the current chair of the college's Board of Trustees. As we kick off Women's History Month, this felt like the perfect moment to sit down with Susan to talk about her journey. From her time as a friar to her professional career to her leadership and service to Providence College. In this conversation, we'll talk about her path, what leadership has looked like along the way, and what continues to inspire her about the future of PC. Susan, thank you so much for being here with us.
My pleasure. Thank you, Bridget, for having me. This is awesome.
I'm so excited. So let's jump right in and get started. Can you tell us a little bit about your connection to PC, how you ended up here, and what that means to you?
The first time I set foot on campus at Providence was fall of 1986. I was applying for colleges, and my mom was so great, took us, went to the tours, went to UMass, went to Boston College, went to Stonehill, went to Providence College, and my mom was very focused on PC. She loved it. She knew of some friends that their kids went here. And I was all focused on Boston College. That was what I was all about, BC. And we came on the campus. It was a beautiful fall day. And something clicked for me. There was a sense of community, a sense of belonging. Mm-hmm. And so it was really the first time that I really thought seriously, like, wow, I belong here. Yeah. What helped was when I applied and got accepted that I got a little bit of a scholarship and also got invited to be in the Liberal Arts Honors Program, which really showed me that Providence saw something special in me, that they would include me in that program. And the rest is history. I wound up accepting at PC. And to this day, my mom would tell the story that while I was on my tour, she went over to the grotto and said a few Hail Marys that, please send a sign that Susan will go to Providence. So when the acceptance came with scholarship money and the invitation, I think that was her way of, thank you. My mom wanted me to go here, but never wanted me to figure it out on my own.
I love that.
So here I am all these years later.
I feel like a lot of PC students have that same experience. They come to campus, they step on campus, and they just know.
It's just something
feels like home.
Special, and it feels like home. Every time I drive onto campus, it's exactly right, Bridget, it feels like I'm home. And it's tremendous. It's tremendous.
I love it. I had the same experience. I wasn't looking at BC, but I was looking at anything but, because I'm a fourth generation Friar. So I was like, I don't want to follow in the footsteps. I want to make my own path. And we were on our way home from a different college tour, stopped here, and I had that same experience.
Yeah.
I just knew and never looked back.
Yeah. So, and here we both are.
Exactly.
Who would have guessed?
When you think back on your time at PC, what stands out to you most now?
Certainly the connections, the experiences. It's funny, Huxley Ave is no longer here, but how many nights when I come into that rotary every time, I think about the number of nights I spent walking down that road that's no longer here. But there's just so many tremendous memories. My accounting professors are a highlight. They were my first mentors, and they were introduced me to what eventually became my career in business as an accountant. And again, I had no idea what to expect, and they were just extraordinary. The whole department back in the day. I mentioned the Arts Honors Program, Liberal Arts Honors Program. Dr. Grace and Dr. Della Santa. Dr. Grace is here with us. Dr. Della Santa sadly has passed away, but again, being part of that Liberal Arts Honors Program was so hard, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to get through this successfully? My very first paper, the very first paper I wrote, I got a C+, and I was devastated. I'd never gotten a C+, and but over time, I learned what they were trying to bring out of me, which was thinking and challenging myself and writing, and those are skills that have been so foundational to my career. So, when I think about all the gifts that Providence gave me, the people, the lessons, the education, all of it is just, again, it's so core to who I am. And again, every time I come on campus, no matter where I look, there's a memory or a vision or it's like a movie when a montage is playing in someone's head. It's really awesome.
That's sweet. I love it.
Great.
Walk us through your career path after graduation. Was this something that you always envisioned?
No, actually, I don't know what I envisioned. I loved being at Providence, and what Providence showed me was the opportunity to challenge myself, to set goals, to to push myself, to set the bar high for myself. To excel in the classroom, excel when I got my internships, and then the people. And so as I was leaving the campus and looking for where I would start my career, when I interviewed at Deloitte, I felt that same sense of high expectations, setting the bar high for yourself, excellence. The people I met, I loved. The opportunity that I was presented with, and so to be surrounded, to go to Providence College, then spend my career at Deloitte, which I didn't also. Who knew I would spend? I'll be there 35 years in September.
Congratulations!
Thank you. I would have never imagined, but the commonality between my PC family and my Deloitte family is that support. That they're on the good days, they're on the challenging days. Cheering me on when I'm successful and providing that opportunity. So, if you follow your passion and you bring along a lot of great people along the journey, that's the recipe for success, and it's what I found here at PC, and it's what I have found at Deloitte.
You spent much of your career living and working in Boston. What did that environment teach you about leadership and ambition?
So much. Coming from Providence, and Boston seems so much bigger, and actually Boston is one of the largest cities, and it's a large city, but it's actually a really small town. Particularly,
it does feel like that.
It's particularly in the business community, and so I was fortunate when I started my career at Deloitte. Fortunate to work with in our financial services industry practice. It's where I began serving clients. And so when the financial services industry in Boston is so booming and so dynamic, and I've spent my whole career serving the best clients, meeting, again, wonderful people, tough clients at times, but incredibly appreciative for the work and for my firm and for my work. And so, that was, again, another tremendous opportunity, but also the community itself. So beyond the clients I served, I had a couple of mentors who were very focused on paying forward their success into the community. So they were involved in not-for-profit organizations, trade organizations like the Chamber. So early in my career, I was introduced to the importance of building relationships in the marketplace, in the community, in the business community. And as I was growing up and progressing through my career, those relationships were so important. It was opportunities to bring in new clients to the firm. It was opportunities to expand my network, or to help someone who's, was looking for an opportunity. I'd say, oh, do you know so-and-so? And so having that community network, that business community network, was so foundational and integral to my success at Deloitte. And in turn, it really inspired for the work that I do in the community. So, beyond what I do here at Providence on the Board of Trustees, I've had the privilege of being involved with the Chamber, on the Chamber, the Boston Chamber's board, United Way of Mass Bay board. I chaired that board. Those experiences and those leadership experiences in the not-for-profit and community space teach you so much that, again, is accretive to what I'm doing in the business world and how I was serving my clients. So it has been a great place to call home and work for all these years, and really just have so much gratitude for the relationships and the network that I've been able to establish there.
That's amazing. It kind of sounds like your business community is a little parallel to the Friar family.
Absolutely.
It sounds like you're describing
family.
the Friar
Bridget,
family
up
in Boston.
You hit it. It took the snow globe that I lived in. I always think of PC as a snow globe.
Yeah, I love that.
Those snow globes where everyone's doing their thing, and everyone's just moving merrily along and living their best life. And now that snow globe became bigger and over Boston for me. And at one point when our offices were in Back Bay, so our office was in Back Bay, and one of my clients was in Copley in the Presidential Center. And then I'm also a member of the University Club. And so my whole world was, like a triangle between these three locations. And it was the snow globe. And listen, plenty of challenges. We can talk about those. It wasn't all perfect and glamour all the time and roses and daisies, but a lot of hard work, a lot of ups and downs in all those years, but really an extraordinary place to be. And you're right, you're spot on with the analogy to just a bigger version of Friartown.
I
for
love
sure.
it.
Yeah,
Love it.
It's a great analogy.
Were there any role models or mentors along the way who really shaped how you lead today?
Oh, for sure. oh gosh, many. We could spend the whole time talking about the lessons I've learned from my mentors. Starting with my mom, I was so blessed to have a mom who was ahead of her time in raising daughters to be independent, strong, resilient, courageous, fierce women who, she worked hard. She and my dad worked hard, but my mom was really the matriarch and the engine in the family that not only inspired us to get the education, but then choose the profession. In her day, she had two choices. She would say to me, "I could be a nurse or a teacher." My grandfather said to her, "You got one or two choices."
Mm-hmm. I've heard that from my grandmother.
Went the nursing route, right? This was all they had, and she went. He wasn't going to pay for her to go to 4 years of college, and even getting the 3 years for her RN was, it was a big deal. And so she would always say, I was just a nurse. And I would go, "Mom, are you kidding? Nurses, good Lord, this is, it was an incredible profession for her." And she was home when we were younger, so she was home for us, and then eventually went back part-time on the weekends as we got a little older, and then when we all left the house. So she taught me so many lessons about just to keep moving. I would call my mom some days. I'd say, "Mom, one of those days," and she'd listen to me for a minute or two and, give me the, "Oh, Susan, oh, honey, I'm sorry." And then she'd say, "Okay, put your big girl pants on and keep moving." And so keep moving was my mother's motto. I mentioned my accounting professor. So Ann Kelly, rest in peace. Ann isn't with us anymore, but Trish Evangelista and Carol Hartley, they were ahead of their time. And again, they had all been in public accounting, came to PC, they were teaching, juggling their families, and they showed us as students what the opportunities were going to be. They prepared us not just in the classroom, but how to interview, once you got the job, once you got the internship, how you should show up. Sure. I can hear them talking about, take out the 3 earrings and put one in, and, watch
the
out.
Real world
the real world, right?
Outside of our balance sheets.
It was exactly, Bridget. It was really, and they believed in us and they encouraged us, and they were, again, my first mentors. And by the way, rock star women. And to this day, I stay in touch with them. So at Deloitte, I've had countless mentors that, as you're going through your career, there are people that will come in and out of your life at a time, and there's, a way that you work together or help that they provide you, and then maybe they move on or you move on. But there were a few in particular, and by the way, men, they were ahead of their time in finding talent in the diamond in the rough of a, hardworking, fast-talking, energetic young accountant, and they took an interest in me and supported me, and that was, they provided me opportunities, and they were role models for, the way I learned my profession, how to talk with clients, how to have conversations with clients, how to prioritize my work, how to set expectations for myself, how to teach other people. They were incredibly wonderful about paying. Again, I mentioned earlier, I was talking about the business community, how you pay forward your success and your service. So I learned from them the importance of paying forward, all the success that I had. And they were my biggest cheerleaders. Again, on the good days, on the tough days, they gave me straight feedback. There were days that I would leave a meeting, I'd say to my mentors, one in particular, I'd say, "How'd I do?" I'd say to him, "Well, I was a fast talker."
Yeah.
I still am a fast talker. And he would always coach me. He'd say, "Susan, when you're in the meeting with the client, you're in the boardroom, slow,
take a breath,
and low, take a breath." And we would leave a meeting, and I'd say, "How'd I do? I was slow, right?" And he'd say, "No." I'd say, "No, I really feel like I was slow this time." He'd say, "No.
You're slow is not that slow."
He'd say, "You're slow as everybody else is," So he'd say, and then he'd say, "Are you going to argue with me about the feedback? You asked for feedback. Right. I'm giving you the feedback. I'm telling you, you were too fast." So I'm grateful for the time that they instilled in me, and it's one thing today as I now am in their shoes. They're all retired, and I'm the person that's been around the block the longest.
You're the mentor.
I'm the mentor, and I will mentor anybody day or night. I mean, I've been given so much, and it's on me to really pay that forward.
That's amazing. Yes. I love it. So we're going to talk about the board a little bit. For the listeners who may not know, what does the Providence College board chair do on a day-to-day?
It sounds like they do a lot. And you say day-to-day, so I should mention it's, I'm a partner at Deloitte, so there's a day job there for me.
Of course.
The board, but being the board chair, so effectively I'm the leader of the board. So the Board of Trustees of any entity, but higher ed, Providence College is a group of leaders, of fiduciaries who have a responsibility to oversee the college. Their responsibility is to understand the priorities, the strategic priorities of the college, the goals of the college, the mission of the college, and hold the president and all of the cabinet and the administration accountable for living up to that mission, living up to those strategic priorities. And so it's, as the chair of the board, you're the leader effectively of that group.
Yeah.
And day to day, my role is to, one, build a very solid, trusting relationship with Father Sicard as the president. He and I talk a lot, and but I'm an advisor. I'm not management of the college. I'm not the president. I'm not on the cabinet, but my role is to advise him, help him think through things that he's looking for advice for. I talk with my trustees. I ask their opinions. I solicit their input, and again, come back to Father Ken with the best thinking and the best advice that we can give him. And so, more broadly, the board has oversight for beyond the strategic planning process, the financial stewardship of the college. So all the numbers, the compliance, the rules and regulations that the college has to abide by, human resource and other aspects, talent. So, the board's role again, though, is to oversee how the college is doing in those areas, not to be in the weeds and not to be managing it day to day.
What has surprised you most about serving on the board?
Bridget, a lot of people have asked me that question.
Really?
What surprised me, yes. And just recently, a few weeks ago, I was talking to someone that didn't know I was now the chair, and she said, "What has surprised you?" And I said, I'll say what I said to her. I said, not really anything. There's nothing that I was like, what? I don't understand this. I had been vice chair for 6 years. I'd been on the board for 10 years. Okay. So, I had a front row seat, or an increasingly, front row seat to the day-to-day operations. And we had also navigated through some pretty difficult times, most notably the pandemic.
Right.
When you think of the headwinds and challenges that have faced us, which is always going to be the case, it's never perfect, and there's always going to be problems to solve. So there's nothing that's really surprised me. And if anything, I won't say it's a surprise. I think I knew it, but maybe I didn't know the intensity or level of it, is the passion that all Friars have for Providence College. I mean, I know that. When you're in the airport, you've got a hat on that says PC, or a sticker on your bag or something, and you hear "Go Friars," from across the street. You're like, oh my God.
That's right.
So that I knew, but as we are, as a board, and as we are faced with, again, a number of opportunities, but also a number of challenges, people call you, they reach out to you, and they are pretty fierce and pretty passionate about their opinions. Yeah. And I don't take that as, criticism. I don't take it as, mind your business. I take it as, wow, you really care about this place that gave each of us so much. We all have our PC story. We all have such a care for Friartown. So every person that reaches out, it's because it's so beloved, and so that's the lens I always try to process that feedback through. But so not really a surprise, but just the intensity of the passion for wanting the best, for the college and for all of our students. So ultimately, anything we're all doing at PC is for our students. That's it. Of course. At the end of the day.
Yeah. Enriching their experience and trying to make it just as good as ours.
Yeah. Well, and living their best life. I mean, I hope since you graduated, you're living your best life. Yeah. I feel like I've been living my best life. If every one of our students could do that, I know that's part of Father Ken's vision is, if every student could live their best life, grounded in what they took away from 4 years, then we've done our job.
Exactly.
We've done our job.
Love it. Okay, you are the first woman to serve as chair of the Board of Trustees. What does that milestone mean to you personally? It
means a lot. Yeah. It means a lot. I'm one of 3 girls, so I'm in the middle. I have an older sister and a younger sister. So again, girls. I know girls. I have two girls. I have 2 daughters. I have 2 girls. No matter how old they get, they're my girls. So both of them Friars. Yeah. class of 19 and class of 22 undergrad, 23 grad. If I don't say the 23 grad, that's super important. Olivia got 2 degrees.
We both got our MBAs.
Yeah, that's right. You
22,
both,
23.
23 as well, Bridget. Okay, so just from that lens alone, to have this moment where, the hard work, the contributions, the impact that I've been able to make as a trustee, that you make. When you make as a trustee, it's a servant role. You are here for service to the college, and you are here for service to Father Ken and to the cabinet, the leadership. We're all servants, and we're here in that purpose. And so you don't come on a board of trustees. Well, certainly I haven't done that, but you don't to aspire the way that you do in your career. When I was at Deloitte, you're aspiring to things and you're growing and learning because you're getting to other levels. Mm-hmm. So as you grow and learn on the board, and when you start to realize, or people tell you that you have skills and experiences and ways that you collaborate and leadership's, a leadership style that will be effective as the board chair, again, the leader of the group, it's incredibly humbling. It's incredibly, daunting as well. And then, by the way, when you say, there hasn't been a woman that has done this, in this world, and Bridget, I'm sure you find this as well, and when all my years at Deloitte, I mean, when you are anything, you want to be recognized and given opportunities for your hard work. That's it. But by the way, when you are the first of whatever, it's an honor, and you can't be the last, and also you have to use that opportunity to open doors and show others what's possible. Yeah. There's a lot of metrics and statistics and stories or anecdotes about, when you talk to young students, young people, anybody, when they look to see what's possible for them in life, if they can't see themselves, someone who's their gender, someone who has their skin color, someone who has their background, someone who pick whatever characteristic matters to them and how they identify. Yeah. If they can't see that, do you necessarily know that it can be possible for you? And it doesn't mean it can't, but I'm very cognizant of the fact that for other women, for any women, that any time, because by the way, throughout my career, I've been the first a lot of times in many ways. And so anytime I was a first, I was super mindful of that people were watching, and I needed to make sure that I was, again, doing the best I could with what I had and setting an example, and also opening the door and pulling other people forward, anybody, but particularly in my case, other women.
I love that.
It's key.
Amazing.
It's key.
So you've kind of answered this a little bit already, but as we kick off Women's History Month, what does it mean to you to hold this role at this moment in time?
Well, it's awesome that we have Women's History Month, because it's all about taking a moment to celebrate the impact that women have on every aspect of society. So there's that. There's extraordinary impact of so many women, and so many women who don't get recognized or celebrated. And by the way, again, not everyone does stuff so they get celebrated and acknowledged, but it's such a great time to do that. And so, so as the Board of the Trustees, I happen to be a woman, it's Women's History Month, it's all coming together. I would say, I would like to shout out to my to the other trustees, our board currently, the number of women on the Providence of lay trustees. Again, our board has lay trustees, which are non-Dominicans, and then we have a number of Dominicans on the board. So, so for the lay trustees, we're currently at about 30% of our lay trustees are women. That's up just in the last couple of years from about 20% or just shy of 20%. Okay. So just the progress we're making in terms of having an inclusive, diverse perspective. And it's not just about numbers and metrics. We're not counting. But diversity of any type, when you have a range of perspectives, a range of experiences, a range of skills, that is bringing the best thinking to the college, to Father Ken, when we're solving these challenges. And so the range of diversity we have on the board isn't just about gender or ethnicity. It's about geography. How do we have people from different parts of the country? Yeah. It's about generations. We have a lot of trustees from the class of 80 and 90s and early 2000s, before that as well. So how do you bring a range of perspectives generationally? So really proud of that. And as we come into this Women's History Month, I'm just particularly proud of, again, the range of diversity that we have had, that we focus on. And just a shout out to, all my other fellow women trustees, who, if I could have them all here today, would have been amazing, because we have some really extraordinarily talented women that are the heads of their professions, that leading things, making impact, that are on our board. So shout out to them. I guess it gives me a chance to give them a shout out and thank them for what they do day in and day out. So
we do have an amazing board.
We do. We have an extraordinary board.
Glad to hear 30% is women. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What has been one of the most rewarding moments of your service to PCs so far?
Wow, that's a lot of years, a lot of things to think about. I would say at the moment, the highlight for me, and again, service is the time you give, it's the treasure you give. It's there's a range of ways, right? You can measure how you give back and how we give back to the college. But for me, what I'm most proud of and most touched by is about a year ago at this time, my family had dedicated, it's now been dedicated, but we have a room named for my mom. My mom passed away a year ago after a very courageous battle with cancer. She was a nurse. And so when we built the new the Bondor Health building for health sciences and nursing, I said to Greg Waldron and Andrea, I said, I think there's an opportunity here to honor my mom. And at the time, she was still here, so she knew the room was coming and knew that we were going to do it. So if you go down to the health sciences building, on the second floor is the Barbara Considine Spatilla seminar room, and it's really an honor and a testament to her as her 40-plus year career in nursing, and the way that she lived what our nursing school is trying to do, which is how do we treat the whole patient? How do we bring the most compassionate and caring to patients who are not only well-educated and smart and great scholars and students, but really in the mission of Providence College and the service and servant leadership of the college and our mission. And so really proud of that, because that was a culmination of obviously hard work financially to be able to do that and to be able to have a naming opportunity for my mom, but to celebrate, again, I mentioned earlier, she's one of my most cherished mentors in my life, and her legacy, and so many nurses. I mean, her profession is what inspired me to forge my way, choose my passion, and build a career. And so that by far gets high marks. Also very proud of the Providentia Fund. That's something else that I was personally involved in. That was we launched that a few years ago, and it made great impact through that fund, which is sponsoring great work of our students, some of our professors, benefiting all of our students, but particularly women. And so that has been extraordinary. And I think all the work with the business school, I was part of the group that was pulled together when we were first trying to get the business school accredited and pull together what had to be done to get it accredited, but also launch our first dean of the business school. And so that goes way back, but that was really how I got re-engaged with the college. So when I look at the Ryan Center and see how extraordinary that is, again, great memories and great feeling of wow, that was part of something really special.
Yeah, so. And it is. I love that building.
Yeah, well, I think if the students like to go and hang, and at the time, well, now I will also say, my understanding is the cafeteria there, or the cafe. The cafe there.
Eaton Street Cafe.
Eaton Street Cafe. I understand now that the Health Sciences Cafe might give that one a run for its money, but I don't know.
That's what my students say. I don't know. They have acai bowls, and they have grilled chicken.
You live in large.
Coffee, cold
Bridget,
brew.
let me tell you what I ate in college, okay? Not quite that same caliber, but it's awesome. No. So it's again, all of these buildings, and the passion that goes into not just the buildings themselves, but what they represent, is really an extraordinary part of the campus. And again, going back to what is exciting about Providence College.
Yeah, I agree. How do you hope that your leadership impacts students, even if they never directly see your work?
Well, for starters, so in any given year, we have thousands of students that come through, right? So how do you impact thousands of students every year for years and generations to come? I think I mentioned earlier the role of the board, and my role as board chair is to hold Father Ken and the team accountable, Father Ken Sakara and the team accountable for the execution of the strategic plan and living true to our mission. So that's foundational. So to the extent that we do that as a board, and for me as board chair, as I push our board, push Father Ken, and collaborate with him to do that, for sure, every student, I said earlier too, every student is living their best life, that's top of their field because of not just the education they got, but because of the internship opportunity they got, or the fellowship opportunity, or because their time at Providence opened a door for, additional education, whatever they chose. So I think for any student who is able to do that, not just when they graduate, but throughout their career and stay connected, then our work will be done, my work will be done. And so it's probably the way that I'll most know. Now, I will tell you, I feel very grateful when I come onto campus and I have the chance to meet with students and meet with the faculty. And even just through those conversations, I feel like the work that we're doing is making impact. And particularly the faculty, I love spending time with them. They're always so grateful to what the board does and how we contribute. And I in turn, I'm grateful. I'm like, you're grateful for us, we're grateful for you. So it really, I think, just even through those day-to-day conversations that I get to have with students and faculty on campus, I feel the impact. And so that's another way that I know. I'm more tactical, I guess, level.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to current students who may not yet see a clear path forward?
It's funny, not everyone knows what they want to do and be when they grow up.
Sure.
How many people do you talk to that, they'll say, I was, 50 when I figured out what I love to do. I was 40. I think there's this pressure for, when you're 18 to know what you want to do, and when you're 22 to know what you want to do. And and so it's hard, and then it's stressful if those around you seem to know and you don't. The beauty of the world we live in now is that there are no limits on what you can do. So just taking a step back to, first of all, not put that pressure on yourself about what do I need to be, what do I want to be. You don't have to decide that.
Right.
You can go on the journey. My advice would be about your network. Again, building that network. I mentioned earlier my network in the Boston business community, my network through Providence College. As a Providence College student, you have access to all the Friars that came before you. Yep. I never hear of a student calling an alum saying, can I have 30 minutes of your time just to talk about your career, ask you questions, who has said
chat.
No. Sometimes it leads to an interview, sometimes it leads to a tour, it leads to a mentoring relationship.
Sure.
But at a minimum, use the Friar network and the alumni network. It is so phenomenal, and that's important. We've talked about mentorship. You've got to seek out mentors, and that's hard because people say, well, how do I meet someone who can be my mentor? And a mentor relationship is like any relationship. It takes time, and you have to cultivate it. But again, that comes back to your Friar community. There are many of our Friars and what they do that would love to have a more active mentoring relationship if you seek that out. So mentors. And I would also say, I got to go back to my mother's advice. You got to keep moving, and you can't give up. If I look back over my career, there are a lot of things that went my way, but there's a lot of things that different. And I would tell you, or that didn't go my way. And I would also tell you the best lessons I have learned are when they didn't go my way. And also, there's a lot of things in my career that I thought were what I wanted to do or what I needed to be doing.
Sure.
And it didn't work out. And then when something else happened, another door opened, or I wound up in another path by accident or because, for whatever reason, I realized after, wow, that other thing that I thought was so perfect for me actually wasn't. And thank God I didn't get that, because now I'm where I'm meant to be. So easy for me to say that. It does. It truly does, Bridget. Everything happens for a reason. Now, easy for me to say that I'm on the back end of my career, and I've lived enough to see it work out, that there was a silver lining. But our staff, our students should know that there is a plan, that it is going to work out. But also you're going to have to put some elbow grease into it. It's not going to fall out of the sky. You've got to work it, and you're going to have to put a little elbow grease into it to make things happen for yourself. It isn't just going to happen for you by waiting for it to happen.
If listeners take one thing away from this conversation, what do you hope that it is?
It is great to be a Friar, past, present, or future. When I think about my days on campus, which is, again, already a very long time ago, in the late 80s and early 90s, when I think about the campus, it's how much it's transformed. My children have just been graduated in the last few years, and I think about all the things that have changed. I mentioned Huxley Ave is gone. The buildings, the Rain, building, the Mondor Center. There's just so much that's changed physically. But what has not changed is the things that I was talking about earlier, our sense of community, how we take care of each other, how we look out for each other. That feeling you get when you're, someplace and you hear a Go Friar. I mean, it happens on the beach. I could be on a run on the beach and I've got a Friars shirt on. I could be at the gym. I was in the office just yesterday. One of my colleagues is class of, I think, 20, I think she's younger than Victoria, so maybe 2016 or 17, but she walked in and she had her winter hat on and had a Friar on, and I said, hey, Go Friars. So it's just that common bond we all have, and I think, wherever you are in your life, again, as a student, as a recent alum, as a alum for many years, just those common bonds, and just giving back. There is. Every one of us, every Friar has something they can give back to the college. Not that we're saying you have to give something back, but it's, if you're looking to pay it forward, if you're looking to find a way to be engaged with the college, if you're looking to mentor students, if you're looking to give, if you're looking to, help with student projects or speak in a classroom, back to time, treasure, and talent, there is something you have that can help make Providence College even better than it already is, and really help every one of our current students live those same dreams that we've all lived. So figure out what that is, and that would be my message. Is it's great to be a Friar, and if there's something you'd like to give back, time, treasure, or talent, we would love to have it. And give us a yell. We'd love to have you.
We'll be here.
We'll be here. We're here waiting for you.
Well, Susan, thank you so much for coming over and chatting with us today.
Oh, Bridget.
This is a pleasure.
My pleasure. It's been an honor. Thank you for your time, and I feel like I could talk to you for 3 more
I
hours.
know.
Can we do this every week? Can we just have a weekly podcast?
She'll be back.
Well, glad. This is wonderful. Thank you for the invitation. It's
Yes.
really been a gift, and go Friars.
Go Friars.